Hi dear Virgos, welcome to my YouTube channel, and in this video I'm going to talk about the transits for the month of November. Okay, can you believe it's November already? I don't know where time has gone, but yeah, we're 2 months away from 2024. It's crazy. So right now, as I'm recording this, we're in the midst of the eclipse season, so the energies are very hectic, intense, restless, and but thankfully November will be very boring because there aren't many things going on in November, and that is good because it's going to allow us to recover in peace. Okay, recover from eclipses. Yeah, and towards the end of November, we should be back to normal, or at least we should have gotten used to the new normal, because eclipses they always bring changes. Okay. Um, let's begin. At the very beginning of November, we have a series of oppositions. Yeah, like when I was writing the horoscopes, I was like, oh my gosh, like so many oppositions. On November 3rd, the Sun in Scorpio will make an opposition to Jupiter in Taurus. And for you, Virgos, that is your third house and ninth house. So the house of communication, education, learning, okay, personal beliefs, gossiping, like those kind of houses. So, but this aspect is not that bad because Jupiter is involved. Jupiter is is a benefic, and when we have Jupiter involved, it's not that bad, even when it's a tense aspect. Um, on the same day, Venus in Virgo is going to make an opposition to Neptune in Pisces. No, this one is a bit delusional because Neptune is very foggy, like it's a planet of illusions, right? And Venus, as you know, it's love. So when you connect the dots, you get the delusional love. So yes, it might feel romantic, but be aware that that day might be, I don't know, when you don't see your partner for who that person really is. Yeah, like you might over idealize your partner on that day. Ooh, Virgos. Yeah, this is happening in your sign, Venus in Virgo. So yeah, Virgos, be extra cautious because I have Virgo rising, and I do tend to over idealize my partners, like see things through rose tinted glasses. We pride ourselves for being like very realistic and analytical, right? But in relationships, we are completely delusional. Like I don't know, it was a hard pill for me to swallow, but it really is. But I don't know, like life keeps sending us such partners. What can we do? It's hard. Um, on November 3rd, Venus is gonna make an opposition to Neptune in your seventh house. So it might feel romantic, but just be aware that you are probably ignoring all the red flags. And thankfully, this transit is very short term, like short lived. It's gonna be active for only a day or two, so nothing to worry about. Next, on November 4th, Mercury in Scorpio is gonna make an opposition to Uranus in Taurus. So again, the activity happening in your ninth and third houses. So in November, you're gonna have a lot of activity going on between those two houses, third and ninth houses. So learning, communication, siblings, foreigners, higher education. Okay, so it might be a great time to attend a course, a webinar or something, because your mind will be very active in November because of these aspects. Next, and also, wait, I forgot to mention. So Mercury make an opposition to Uranus in Taurus. That this aspect sounds like sudden flashes of brilliance because Mercury is thought. Uranus is like is unexpected. So there might be like sudden mental breakthrough. Okay, sudden understanding of something complex. You're gonna be like, aha. And then, since this is an opposition, it might be something that you are kind of like forced to address. Mercury is, communication, so you might have to have a talk about something suddenly. And so, on the same day, on November 4th, Saturn is going to station direct on the 0th degree of Pisces. Virgos, this is your seventh house. Yeah, so remember, since June, Saturn has been retrograde in your relationship house. So, delays, frustrations in relationship matters. You kind of like got the first preview of what this Saturn transit is going to be like, and then it kind of went backwards for you to like absorb and absorb that lesson, and now you are ready for like the second round of Saturn lessons in relationships. But the good news about Saturn in the relationship house is that it tends to bring more serious partners, people who are more willing to commit. Because remember that Neptune, that nebulous Neptune in the seventh house of relationships, it has been in there for like a decade, giving us all sorts of delusional people. But Saturn, thankfully, is going to give us more serious people, reliable people, like tangible people, not people who exist in our, I don't know, imagination. It feels that way sometimes. One time I even asked this guy, like, are you even real, or are you a figment of my imagination? Because it's just the Neptunian kind of mess. Yeah, but Saturn in Pisces, finally. So for those of you who have Virgo rising, especially those of you who have it like in the mid degrees, then it means that Saturn is still in your sixth house. Okay, sixth house is the house of work and stuff. So if you feel like, oh, I haven't felt anything in my relationships yet, well, then wait until like Saturn reaches your descendants degree. Okay, so right now Neptune is in the zeroth degree of Pisces, right? And let's say your rising sign is on the 17th degree of Virgo. That means your descendant is on the 7th degree of Pisces. So yeah, there is still quite a long time until Saturn will reach that degree. But those of you who have your rising sign in the early degrees, you're gonna get Saturn's influence sooner. Okay. Then next, on November 5th, we have the last quarter moon in Leo. This marks the beginning of a week where not much happens. Remember, I repeat this every month, so you probably know this already. So after November 5th, use that time, the next 5 days after this, until like November 10th, to recharge your batteries. Wrap things up that started with the previous new moon. Prepare things for the next new moon, okay, like documents and stuff, applications, and mail them so that they are delivered by the time of the new moon, stuff like that. And also, naturally, it's a time to recharge our batteries, like natural cycles, because the moon will be becoming smaller and smaller day by day, and disappear completely by the time of the new moon. So yeah, like don't waste energy trying to start anything new. On November 8th, Venus is gonna leave your sign and enter Libra, which means your second house. And so Venus loves being in Libra. So you had Venus in your sign since early October. So Venus gave you charm, popularity, attention. Okay. But now Venus is gonna bring blessings to your finances. Yeah, financial house. So second house. So for about a month, your finances should be experiencing that Venusian boost, so to speak. On November 10th, Mercury is gonna enter Sagittarius. And as soon as it enters Sagittarius, it's gonna make a square to Saturn in Pisces. So even though Mercury in Sagittarius is quite optimistic, but that square to Saturn is gonna feel like a roadblock. Like there's gonna be an obstacle in communication. So let's say you are enthusiastic to communicate something, but then the other person says something rude because they are not in the mood, and that kind of spoils your mood. It's like that kind of energy. Like I'm not saying this is definitely going to happen. I'm just like, I don't know, giving an illustration of the possible outcome. Yeah, so normally Mercury just sprints through signs, so it's gonna spend like 18 days in your fourth house. So communication regarding fourth house matters, emotions, family, house, living situation. Yeah, those things might be will be easier to discuss. Next, on November 11th, Mars in Scorpio is gonna make an opposition to Uranus in Taurus. Again, your third house and ninth house. Next, so well, I forgot to mention that this Mars and Uranus opposition, it's kind of like giving a very impulsive energy. Like Mars is action, Uranus is sudden, unexpected surprises. So when you combine these two, it's like an impulsive action. Yeah, so since you have these travel houses involved, like third house short distance travel, ninth house long distance travel, you might impulsively travel like somewhere not far away. Yeah, like one of the possible interpretations of this aspect. But again, thankfully this is short term. It's gonna be active for only 2 days. And also, if you don't travel anywhere, this might be the day when you kind of like mentally active. Like Uranus is the nervous system, and Mars is like activator. It's like an action planet. So imagine your nervous system being overly activated on November 11th. That's also possible. Yeah. So after that, on November 13th, we finally have a new moon in Scorpio, on the 20th degree of Scorpio. And so, for you, Virgos, this is your third house. So, a new moon in the third house might mean that, I don't know, you will get some new writing projects, okay? Because third house, writing, communication. Some of you might get a new phone, because, again, communication. Phones are ruled by the third house. What else? Like a message communication, phones, as I said, short distance travel, that's also possible. Like some news regarding your sibling, because third house rules siblings, or maybe a neighbor, because third house rules neighborhoods as well. Yeah. And so another interesting thing about this new moon is that it's the first new moon after the Libra solar eclipse in October. So the events associated with that solar eclipse might play out in November for some Virgos. It can happen because, let's say the eclipse is here. So the events associated with that eclipse might play out a month in advance or a month after. Yeah, so if you feel like, oh, we had all those eclipses in October, but nothing happened. Well, it's because it's about to happen in November. Okay, so yeah, if you feel like nothing happened to you in October, I would say be observant, like see what happens around this new moon. Okay, and so, but overall, new moons, you can expect some news, decisions, announcements around this time. Okay, 4 days plus or minus. So starting from November 10th until like mid-November, you can expect new things. And if you are thinking of starting a new project, something new, it's a great time to start those things. Okay. And there will be an element of surprise around for this new moon, because it's going to be making opposition to Uranus in Taurus. Yeah. And so again, on November 18th, we have the Sun, Scorpio Sun, making a conjunction with Scorpio Mars. This is important because Mars and Sun conjunctions don't happen every year. They happen once every year and a half. And this time it's especially interesting because Mars rules Scorpio, and so the ruler of the Sun is making a conjunction with the Sun. You get it, right? So normally, not normally. Yeah, okay, so new moon, right? New moon is when the moon and the sun are in conjunction. New Mars, I guess, like on November 18th, is when Mars and sun are conjunct. So this marks the beginning of a new cycle for Mars. And for you, dear Virgos, this is happening in your third house. So some new cycle regarding your communication. Some new cycle maybe regarding your car, if you get a new car. Because Mars is like very much like action, right? A movement. Third house is also movement. It's a mutable house. So when you combine these two, some Virgos might be getting a new car, yeah, or a new way of commuting because of this like conjunction. Next, so on November 22nd, the Sun is gonna enter Sagittarius. So from your third house, from all the chatting, talking, the focus will start shifting towards your home life, home matters, family life. Yeah, and so shortly after the Sun, Mars is going to join the Sun in your fourth house. And now this is a bit problematic because Mars, as you know, it's the god of war. It's a very aggressive planet. I mean, it has lots of energy. It kind of activates, energizes whatever house it visits, but at the same time, it kind of tends to bring conflict. Yeah, so since this is your fourth house, dear Virgos, From November 24th towards the late November and December, you might feel more irritable with the people you live with. It might be your partner, it might be your roommate, okay? You might feel more irritable than usual because Mars tends to do that. So do watch out. What else? At the very end of November, we have a full moon in Gemini on the 4th degree. Now, this is important for you guys, Virgos, because this full moon is happening in your 10th house. 10th house is a house of career, social status. And when we have a full moon in there, it's extra important because full moons are culminations, achievements, illuminations. So if you've been working on some project at work, now is the time when you get recognized for those efforts. Okay, it's the time when you get a praise from your boss, or it's the time when you get a bonus for your project, or it's the time when you get a raise in your salary for all the good work you've done. Yeah, so full moon in the 10th house can do that. And what else? So this is the first full moon after the lunar eclipse in Taurus in October. So again, the events associated with that lunar eclipse might play out around this full moon. So if you feel like nothing happened to you in October, I would say wait for this full moon. Okay. So, and as I said, full moon is like illumination, culmination. So it might be that you find out something about work. And maybe there will be some sort of ending at work. Maybe your favorite coworker will quit your company and move to a new job, something like that. Culminations can be in that way as well. Your boss is going to retire and now you're going to have a new manager, something like that. So this is it for November, dear Virgos. If you like this video, please subscribe and like. And remember that I offer astrology readings. I offer birth chart readings, astrocartography readings, transits, what else? Compatibility readings. If you are interested and would like a reading, please email me or leave a comment. And I would like to apologize for those who emailed me in October, because it took me forever to get back to you guys in October. October has been very hectic for me, and I lost someone who was like a family to me in October, so I was grieving that. Yeah, so I do apologize. In November, I should be able to get back to you guys in time, okay? So thank you for watching, dear Virgos, and I'll see you guys in my December videos. Okay, I wish you guys a pleasant November.